Azure Flash News.
That's right. 816.
816 it is. It's August 16th. And I think we're going to call this episode 90.
Yeah, we are officially changing some things, attributes of the show.
Yeah, we're going to start using episode numbers in addition to the date.
Yep.
The date is important for the show because it has to do with that week's news.
That's right.
But iTunes asked me to start using episode numbers. So we're just going to choose one, kind of close, and go with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's it going, Rick?
Good. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good. Very good. We got a little bit of overcast outside. We got a little bit of overcast inside. We're cloudy, baby.
Oh, nice. Nice. Rick, I like it. I mean, it's like we've had such a cool, wet summer.
Yeah, and when you say cool, you don't mean like cool, like K-E-W-L. You mean like cold.
Or like K00L.
Yeah, right? No, we're talking cool. Like,
yeah, it's so cool. Like the grass is supposed to be kind of like not growing anymore and a little bit brown.
Yeah,
it's not
so
I'm like
much.
mowing like crazy.
Not so much.
Okay. We've got people here watching the show. Welcome to Teams.
Welcome to Teams.
We're using Teams live, so enjoy that.
Yeah.
Check it.
Yeah, it'll be a new feature format, new functionality, new broadcast, new fancy
Tweet us.
stuff.
Tell us what you think.
Tweet us.
Azure Flash News. I didn't get any requests for swag. Did you
I
get
know,
any requests for
no,
swag?
I didn't.
No? Come on, reach out. Let's do it.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so we got some good stuff today. Rick, you want to?
Absolutely. So we have an announcement around some disk storage capabilities. We've got a preview capability around storage. Project Tardigrade. I'll just say WaterBear. A really good resource for best practices. And last but definitely not least, some additional Azure reservations that you can now leverage to keep costs in check down. And that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, no, we'll get to that. I was going to say something, but I'm not.
Don't do it.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
So we'll jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Right. So a while back, we had announced Azure Ultra Disk Storage. Okay, and with Ultra Disk Storage, for those of you that don't know, as the name implies, it's got ultra performance. So these are capabilities for.
This isn't just super fast.
No, ultra fast. Ultra fast. So basically, what we're talking about is your most I/O demanding workloads, such as Ohana. I got some SAP in there. No, I know. I said, Ohana.
Oh.
No, you're thinking of Benihana.
Oh, Benihana. But there's this place. Well, anyway, I grew up in. I mean, I spent 10 years in Des Moines.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So
anyway,
HANA, yes.
HANA,
what about
SQL Server?
Cassandra, right?
Oracle,
so I don't know. Is that
people
a
still
thing?
using
Is
Oracle.
That a thing?
Yeah, bring your Oracle workloads to Azure. It's fine.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right.
Yeah. So if you've got super high I/O demanding workloads, bring them to Azure. We've got Azure Ultra Storage.
Yep.
And we get
lots of IOPS, up to
it's like
160,000.
Yeah. It's just like like in microseconds.
I know. It's
not
crazy.
milliseconds.
No.
Microseconds.
Yes, it's nuts.
So I mean, it's kind of hard to know how you could actually get any faster. It's essentially memory.
Right. Well,
I mean,
basically,
it's just NVMe. Right?
Correct. Exactly. Yes. So the thing of it is up to you can maximize disk performance by leveraging up to 300 IOPS per gig. Okay. So for every gig that you provision, you get 300 IOPS.
Right.
So you can get up to 160,000 IOPS per disk, basically.
So in other words, when you provision IOPS, you provision gigs. When
Correct.
you provision gigs, you provision IOPS.
Exactly. And you get up to a maximum of 2,000 Mbps per disk. So megabits or megabits. Hit the capital. Bytes. Megabits.
A big B is
big B is a byte. Bytes.
Not bits.
No.
Bytes. That's even more. Right?
Yeah. Well, exactly. 8 bits to a byte.
Yeah. Right. That's why I hear.
So the announcement today is we are announcing
What's the
GA. We're going general availability. So if you were uncomfortable using this for those I/O demanding, input/output demanding workloads, you now have the comfort of being backed by general availability, SLAs, all that good stuff.
Yep.
So absolutely an exciting announcement.
Available in East 2.
Yeah. East
North
US
Europe,
2.
Southeast Asia. So we tried to cover 3 regions.
Yeah, pretty geo-dispersed.
Different geos.
Yep.
I would expect to see more over time.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean,
but the NVMe we could get, we at least spread it out. So,
exactly.
So if you're in the US and you need one of these you have a workload like this, you just need to do it in US East 2, and in some ways you can kind of think of it as like an inconvenience that you may be a West Coast company and you're like, oh
West
no,
Coast.
West Coast, but that you have to use the East Coast to do this.
I know.
But let me shift that a little bit
Yep.
differently.
Yep.
Now, without requisitioning any new data centers or any new contract, you can vision a few PMs in a region that you don't currently use. No new commitments, no new contracts, no new nothing. Spin it up, use it, spin it down when you're done. So, I mean, I understand we can't cover every region with every capability right off the bat.
Off the bat. Yep.
Yeah, especially
Yep.
something like this.
Yep.
But the good news is that you're not tied to any specific colo or region anyway.
Right. Exactly.
I had a customer say, hey, we're in North Central and we're thinking about using East. And I was like, go.
Turn it on.
Yeah, turn it on. Start. If you think that another region is better for you now,
go.
start using it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing keeping you from starting to move. I mean, I can understand if you don't want to move your workload, that's fine.
So
But
there's
using it.
two customer quotes in this that make me chuckle because one is from
Talk
Sega. Do you remember those commercials? Do you remember
Yes,
those?
dude,
Yeah,
totally.
Sega. So apparently Sega, we can talk about it because it's actually a quote in the article.
Yeah.
Sega uses ultra disk storage and online trading academy. Here we go. Or radio or
no idea
something
what you're
like
talking
it's
about.
from Talk Radio, online trading academy.
I have not.
Yeah.
I don't listen
So
to
those,
talk radio.
so those are two quotes. I just thought it was funny because Sega.
So Sega's using it today.
Yeah. Yes, they are. And so it's the online trading academy.
Online Trading Academy. I don't know.
Online Trading Academy. Radio. That's what it is, something like that.
I've never heard this. That's awesome, Rick. I just
Clearly,
never.
I listen to too
never
much
know.
talk radio.
I know. I just never know what you're gonna.
Right?
That's awesome. Okay.
So GA is awesome.
GA means hold on,
General.
maybe
Yep.
this wouldn't
Yeah,
have to
that's
explain.
fair. Yep.
So
that's a
we
good point.
sometimes have things that come up in private preview,
Yep.
which means sometimes we talk about it, sometimes we don't, but that
Yep.
means a few customers are using it.
A very select few.
very select few.
Yep.
And sometimes we even kind of say limited private preview or limited.
Well,
public
and it's
preview, but-
almost by invite only in some cases.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a lot of times we have a private preview where we have customers start to use it.
Yep.
Most of the time you don't hear about it. Customers don't hear about it.
Right.
Then we have what we call a public preview or
Yep.
preview.
Yep.
And preview means that the service is new. There are no SLAs
Yep.
involved yet because we're just finishing up the service and trying to make it work well. Sometimes that means we're done enough to start showing it to customers, but not done enough to call it done.
Right.
And we want customers' feedback on the service.
Yep.
So that's preview.
Yep.
And it usually comes with no SLAs and usually a discount.
Discount. Yeah. Usually it's up to roughly 50%.
50%?
Yeah.
And then when we get to GA or general availability, that means we're done, full price, and you'll see in here that it's
And fully supported.
and fully supported.
Yep.
Although a lot of times public preview is supported. We will
Yep, correct,
support you
Correct.
on any workload. You
Yep.
open a ticket, we will help you. Like usually by the time we get to public preview, product group will support you.
Yes.
But GA, SLAs, everything full price. And
Yeah.
think
When I
that-
say fully supported, I guess I was referring more to the
Yep.
SLA.
absolutely, I mean, and I totally agree, fully supported. Like
Yep.
not only are we there with you, but we also give you the SLA. And I think this one said, for that matter, that the price. Oh no. Article. This one says that the new pricing starts. I think it's at October.
Takes effect October 1st, 2019. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There you go.
yeah, rock on.
So it never hurts to review that stuff. Some people might
Oh,
not
of
know that.
course, of course.
Preview,
Private,
GA,
public,
private,
GA.
private
Yep.
preview, public preview or preview, and then GA.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Rock on.
All right, geo-redundant.
No, GeoZone
Oh,
redundant.
man.
I know. I keep doing the same thing because we're so used to saying, okay, we've got locally redundant storage, we've got geo-redundant storage, we've got RA geo-redundant
It would
storage,
actually
we've
would hurt
got
for us
zone
to kinda-
redundant storage.
Actually,
So-
kind of wouldn't hurt for us to all up kind of.
I agree.
I mean,
So
we can cover this real quick
Yep.
and then kind of review.
So we've got a lot of different types of storage. So we've got locally redundant storage, which is where we maintain 3 copies within the same region. Okay.
Mhm.
We've got geo-redundant storage, is where we take 3 copies and keep 3 locally redundant copies, and then we asynchronously copy those to a second location.
Yep.
So that's geo-redundant. Then we've got read access geo-redundant, which
Yep.
makes that secondary location actually read-only. So you can read them from that second location. You can't write, but it's read-only. Then we have zone redundant storage, which is like locally redundant storage, except we spread it across the zone.
Yep.
Okay.
And so, and a zone basically means different facilities in the same region that have separate internet and power, that
Yep.
kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So that if you don't want to do and it's synchronous,
And it's synchronized.
right?
Yep.
So
yep.
these different zones or these different facilities in a region we don't guarantee that they're far apart
Right.
for like a tornado or something. Actually, we're
We
guaranteeing
still
they're
have separate.
close.
Yeah, they're
They-
close.
Yeah,
2
we're
milliseconds.
yeah,
is
we're
our,
actually
is our
saying that they're-
performance.
yeah, we're
metric.
actually saying that they're close.
Yep.
And the reason we're promising you that they're close is so that we can do synchronous
Correct.
stuff.
But,
so
but
some
they are
people
separated with network
Yeah.
power and storage,
Yeah.
and network power and cooling.
Yeah.
So
and
they're separate that way, but they're close enough
Yeah.
where you can get a 2 millisecond basically
Yeah.
response time.
sometimes I hear customers say, now, does that mean, when you're in a different zone, does that mean that they're far enough apart that a tornado won't hit both of them?
It's
No,
not
That's
DR.
not what it's
It's
for.
not disaster recovery.
It's for resiliency
Exactly.
within a synchronous envelope.
Yep.
2 milliseconds.
Correct.
Anyway,
So we had zone redundant storage, but what
you're
we're
going
now
through this
putting
list
in preview is geo zone redundant storage.
geo zone redundant. So let's unpack that. Geo means.
So you're geographically dispersed in
Yeah.
at least two regions.
Yep. We're going
Right.
to replicate asynchronously to the second region.
Yep.
And then zone
Is
that.
multiple data centers within a region.
Yep. And I'm assuming, I actually didn't read the text here, but I'm assuming it means it's zone redundant in both locations.
I'm assuming as well. we
Yeah,
should-
I
yep.
didn't read that. But the difference here is that the choices you've had up to this point were you could do locally redundant and zone redundant, which
Yep.
is locally redundant except across zones.
Yep.
That costs you a little bit more, but not
Yep.
a lot more.
No, not at all.
But now we're saying you can do both zone redundant and geo at the same time. And so your zone redundant storage can be replicated to another.
Correct. Correct. And we also have read. We're also read access geozone
Oh,
redundant storage
doing
as
that
well.
too, huh?
Yep. So that's up here on the scenario,
Yeah.
and it is supported as part of the geozone redundant storage.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah, very cool. So
So you'll notice here, okay, I'm looking here at the number 9.
I know.
And it says the geo zone. Hold on, I'm scrolling up here to get it. Okay, yeah, here it is. So the geo zone, that's this one. That's
Yep.
the far right. If you're watching the video.
Yeah.
But the geo zone redundant is designed to give you at least 16 nines. Okay. So that's 1 9 in front of the. No, that's 2 nines in front of the decimal and 14 after.
14 after. That's crazy.
That's a lot of nines.
Now that's durability.
Yeah, that's durability.
That's
In other
actually
words,
durability.
That's in other words, that means
Yep.
when you write an object that we won't lose.
Correct.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. I mean, durability. I don't know as we've ever lost a bit, but I
don't
shouldn't
know,
say
man.
that because I've never heard of it happening. But durability is really it's stable states.
Stable
If you don't
states.
have durable storage, sorry guys, you don't have storage.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's just some incredible durability built into the platform, and if you want to, like, it's in preview. So
Yes,
you-
it's in preview.
Here we go.
Yep,
Get another
so
chance
it's
to talk about
yep,
preview.
so public
This is public
preview
preview.
announcement.
And so if you want to spin this up, go for it.
Absolutely.
I wonder if there are certain regions.
So it is across availability, yes. So synchronously, right? 3 replicas across the availability zone. So that's your zone redundant storage. Then asynchronously replicating that data to another region within the same geo into a single zone, such as locally redundant storage. So it is doing it into a single zone.
So I was just wondering if there were certain regions where this preview was available. I don't see that, so I'm assuming you can do it anywhere.
I don't see
But
that.
go-
Well,
go-
it's
go-
going to be available where zone redundancy is
Oh,
available.
that's right. Okay. So go check the portal.
Yep.
This one may not be available everywhere, in every region around the world, but check it out.
Yeah.
It's really, like if you have some of that data that you just absolutely cannot lose or whatever, this is the place to go.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, in
Absolutely.
preview, starting today,
Yes.
or maybe the other day, I guess. All right. Oh, water bears. I mean, it might not hurt to just briefly mention.
Okay, so we called out that we
What a tardigrade
we
is.
alluded to Project Tardigrade in the beginning, and a tardigrade is actually what are more I think commonly referred to as water bears, and they're probably
If you're
some of
watching the video, there's
the
a picture of one on the
yep
screen
they're
now.
probably one of the most resilient. It's an
Organisms.
8-legged microscopic creature, and it's literally they're almost impossible to kill.
Yeah.
In fact,
They
if
can survive in space.
exactly. They can. In fact, if you read the news lately, there was a. Apparently, they're on the moon. We accidentally spilt them on the moon with the crash of a lunar lander or something,
Yeah.
something to that effect. I mean, literally, you can't kill these things. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're not killed by cosmic radiation
No, no.
or the vacuum of space or anything. So
Exactly.
they're it's like I also remember there's an episode of Cosmos, the show that Tyson, Neil deGrasse Tyson did a few years ago, and they talk about water bears and how they just, like we can find fossils of water bears as far back as we can find because they've just been around for so long.
Forever.
You just can't kill them. Anyway, so the whole idea is you can't kill a tardigrade.
Right.
So we're taking in college.
Oh, there was also a South Park episode with water bears.
Am I surprised?
No.
Nor am I surprised that you remembered that there was a South Park episode.
You're talking about like cool academic stuff, and here I am. Oh yeah, and there was a South Park episode.
I'm talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson, and you're racking your brain like there has to have been.
I know.
A South Park
episode. They're right because they've done everything.
I know. They've made fun of everybody.
I love it. So when we talk about something that's highly resistant or durable, hard to kill, what we're talking about in this particular context is basically the inability to bring down a virtual machine. So holy cow, right?
Holy tardigrade.
Holy tardigrade is exactly right. So basically, it's platform resiliency. It's an initiative that we've been on this journey for a while.
Yeah.
I remember, several Ready conferences ago when we started talking about this. Basically, in effect, what we're saying is you should never ever have to reboot your version again. It's in place. It's in place or live migration. I mean, I know those are terms I'm using loosely, but so it's in place updates. It's live migration. It's the ability for a VM essentially to pause for a couple seconds, and then all of a sudden it's on a new host, or it's recovered from a catastrophic failure, or something's happened where the host could literally die, and your virtual machine may pause for, like I said, a few seconds, and then it continues.
Yeah, and
so. Go ahead.
And I was just going to say, if you look at the phases on how the tardigrade recovery workflow works, essentially, the Azure Fabric knows how to take VMs and hold them in state, rework some of the hosts, do stuff, let's just say, and then we can, and since we've lifted your VM up out of memory or out of the host in some ways, it's on the host, but we lift it up out of the hypervisor far enough to reboot and reset the hypervisor.
Exactly.
Then we can pull it back down and rehydrate it. Means that we can fix stuff on the host.
Yeah.
And your VM pauses for a second or two. But then it returns.
Yeah.
So you might notice a slowdown.
Exactly.
But you generally don't see a downtime.
So that's a good point. So phase one basically recycles all the services that are running on the host. Okay. In the case that faulted service doesn't successfully start for some reason, whatever that reason may be, we go to phase two.
Mm-hmm.
So phase two, we have diagnostic service that runs on the host to collect all the information systematically, takes all the information to figure out what happened, to diagnose what happened in phase one, and basically does a root cause issue and basically to prevent reoccurrences in the future. And then phase three is at a high level, we reset the OS into a healthy state with basically minimal customer impact. Right.
Yeah,
so
and that's
to mitigate the host issue.
Yeah, and that's when we take your VM and we dehydrate it.
It preserves the state of the VM to RAM, right? Basically, and then we begin to reset the OS into a healthy state.
Yeah.
Now, while the OS is reset underneath, the running applications on the VM, basically, as we mentioned, they kind of freeze for a second. They're suspended, right? And then it's similar to if you had a network fault, temporary, like transient fault, right? So if the network connection is temporarily lost, but it gets resumed, use a reliable retry policy, right? As we've talked about that pattern several times.
You really should be doing that anyway.
Yeah, but in this case, it's us following that same practice underneath the scenes.
Yep. And then the thing is that what this means is that we can fix the host and fix unhealthy hosts.
Yep.
Without you needing to reboot your VM.
Exactly.
So anyway, this is a lot of work that's been going on.
Oh my God. Like I said, I remember this kind of first being talked about. I remember when Mark Rusinovich came on stage and said, we're working on a technology that will basically prevent a customer from ever having to reboot a VM again. And there was a collective exactly. There was a big WTF moment for I think the collective audience, like, how are we going to do
that? How in the world?
What?
But the thing is that this is what's crazy is since we have such a background company-wide in a hypervisor, we own the stack.
Oh wait, we own the stack. We didn't have to borrow it or yank it from an open source community. And I don't mean we own it as in it's proprietary. I mean it's in our DNA. We built it. We developed it. We know how to make things better, faster, stronger. Not that the open source community doesn't know how to do that. It's just we are we've gotten to be considerable experts.
Well, the thing is that open source is awesome. There is also a time for software, and in this case, using our own commercial software as a hypervisor is a good idea
Yes.
because we can just move immediately on fixing it,
Yeah.
doing something else with it, whatever.
And let's be honest, at some point we have to have some sort of a differentiator.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
mean, and this is going to be a big differentiator.
Yeah, this is awesome.
This
Okay.
is huge. So Project Tardigrade.
So Project Tardigrade, go and
so-
check out your water. First, read about water bears.
First, read about water bears, right?
And then
Yep.
come to Azure, and you don't have to, for unhealthy hosts, we'll not need to reboot.
Exactly. Now, it definitely, but again, check this out. It is a post from, it is specifically from Mark Rusinovich.
Yeah, it
And,
is.
you know, as I mentioned, he was talking about this probably four years ago at least.
Russ.
Mark Russ, that's right. Yeah, go check it. It's a good read. It's actually really interesting.
Okay. Excuse me.
All right. So,
I was just really looking for a single source for Azure best practices. I mean, that was really what I was looking for.
well, look no more.
What?
Look no more.
Wow. Talk to me, Rick.
So Azure Advisor, okay, and we've talked about Azure Security Center, we've talked about Azure Advisor, we've talked about Azure Monitor, we've talked about Azure Cost Management. There's a whole bunch of capabilities in Azure, and the thing of it is you don't, like Azure Advisor, you basically have to do what?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Well, you have to click on
Well,
it.
you have to click
have
on
to
it.
open it.
Okay, fair enough. So you do have
But
to
that's
actually.
not much. That's
it's-
like.
Exactly. You're like the guy in the South Park episode when they're playing.
The South Park episode.
Yeah, when he's like all leaned back in his chair and they're playing what's that World of Warcraft, and he's like this and he's clicking on his mouse and stuff. So he would be the guy who wouldn't want to move his mouse and click.
That's right. That's right.
He would be that guy. So,
Yeah.
and this is not the case for that guy, right? So
Nope.
basically, Azure Advisor, it's your literally it's like your concierge to best practices, right?
Yep.
It goes through, it looks at your usage, it looks at your configuration. And it's not just a single facet or a single lens perspective. It looks at best practices, right sizing your workloads, right? If you might be using under provisioned, you might be over provisioned. It'll tell you that. It'll also
tell you if you have VMs that look like they're not being used.
yeah, shut them down. So there's a cost savings. That's what I was
Yeah.
getting to. Is there's a
Yeah,
cost savings facet to it as well.
And it also can say, hey, it looks like you are using these VMs all the time.
Yeah.
You ought to make a reservation.
Yes. Introduce an RI.
Yeah.
If these are running 24/7, 365, and we're seeing CPU utilization above X% pretty consistently, you should think about using a reserved instance or making a reservation and basically bring your cost down. And it'll recommend all, so you've got cost, performance, security,
Yeah.
and high availability.
Yeah,
You're not in the skill set,
Yeah.
or you don't have an app gateway in front of these VMs. So from a security perspective, I mean, it is really kind of, we talk about this is a culmination or a mashup of all those individual capabilities, monitoring capabilities in one spot.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just cost.
No.
We do want to help you lower your costs.
Absolutely, right?
but,
I always say exploit the cloud. Don't take advantage of it, exploit it. And,
Yep.
and cost savings is a big part of it. But again, if you're over provisioned, basically right size that workload. Security. No matter what I do, like, you're not, well, we don't do this anymore because we have encrypted by default, but I used to get messages saying your VM disks aren't encrypted. Go, and the cool thing about it though too is when you click on like a recommendation that comes from Azure Advisor.
It isn't just a recommendation.
No,
No.
It tells you how to remediate it. In fact, there are a lot of cases where it says click here to remediate.
Yeah. I'm just like looking here, like another one that it might say is, hey, you have a public IP on your VM and RDP port is open.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hello. Maybe that's how Capital One could have avoided a breach, by the way.
What? What?
I'm just saying. Right?
Just saying.
Now, granted, you can't be perfect and catch everything, so I understand. So I won't.
That's what Azure Policy is for.
That's what policy is for. That's what
That's right.
Security Center is for. That's what Sentinel's for. That's what. Oh wait, we've got tools for that.
Yeah, that is.
But you're right.
You
So
might not think of Microsoft as a security vendor, but we absolutely are.
hey,
with
yet
that.
again, we just got a perfect score with our antivirus software.
Boom.
Twice.
Boom.
Show me that.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but the whole point is, so the remediation steps are really cool here, right? I mean,
I
it's a
want to
big
add
deal.
one more
Yeah.
thing here. Is
Yeah.
there's even advisor for platform services.
yes,
Yeah,
database.
not just VMs.
Yep.
There's an Azure App Service Advisor as well as Azure SQL DB. So like it can even suggest you create an index.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, we got a cough coming up. Yeah, you're right. I'd
So
be
it's
remiss if I failed to
comprehensive.
mention. It is. It really is. It's not just IS. I should have called that out in the beginning. Yeah, you'll get to your point. You'll get, create a clustered index on this table or
Yeah.
do, absolutely.
So go check it out. It's a good reminder. I don't think there were any particular announcements in here, but the announcement is don't forget about
Don't
Azure
exactly. The
Advisor.
announcement is the announcement. Don't forget that it's there. Make sure you're using it. Make sure you're exploiting it, just like all of our other capabilities. It's there for you to use. It's there for you to leverage. Take advantage of it.
All right. All right. Let's make Azure Reservations more powerful because this kind of has to do with the other one.
And I know it kind of segues into it. It's almost like
Nice.
it's not a natural segue,
it's like
but
you-
it's a
it's like
segue
you-
tour.
It's like you planned it.
Almost. You would think so, but I actually did.
Yeah.
I really did. So we just talked about reservations, right? So Azure, so reserved instances. So why don't you
Okay.
give us
So
a heads up on
reserved
that?
instance. A reserved instance basically is a pre-purchase of.
Pre-purchase of
Pre-purchase
compute.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's easy to think about a virtual machine.
Yep.
So if you think about a virtual machine, you can buy or use or whatever that virtual machine one of two ways. One is you just spin up the VM and you pay the per hour price.
Yep.
But you can turn it off whenever you want. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's one way to use it.
Yep.
So the idea to cost manage there is to turn it off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the other option is to pay up front for either a year's worth of compute or 3 years worth of compute, even more discount for 3 years.
Wonder why you can't do it for 2 years.
It's an even number. We don't like even numbers.
We no even numbers.
No even numbers. So is one even or odd?
One's odd.
Yeah, it's odd. Okay, so it's not normal, it's odd.
Normal.
Okay, so anyway, so you can either buy 1 year or 3 years up front. You pay for the whole amount up front.
Yep.
And so basically what you're saying is in return for paying for all of it at a big discount up front, I'm giving up the right to turn it off.
Yes.
I'm
correct.
saying, you know what, Microsoft, I promise, or even if you do turn it off, doesn't matter.
You can still turn it off. It's not prohibiting you from doing it. If you've got to reboot your server, if you've got software installed that forces you to reboot the VM, not us, if you do, you can do that.
That's
it's
fine.
not that you can't do it, it's just that
you're going to pay for it anyway.
Correct.
You already paid for it. So, so it's kind of like two sides of the same coin. One is cost optimization is turn it off. The other way is, no, Microsoft, I'm willing to pay up front. I'm willing to commit and give up the right to save money by turning it off. You're welcome to turn it off, but you're still paying for it, or you already paid for it.
Right.
Okay. So that's what a reservation is making that change. There are lots of different ways to do that. VMs are not the only reservation type.
No.
We'll talk about some of those here.
Absolutely. So, so there's new Azure reservations. So this announcement talks about some basically. So Azure reservation helps you save more on your Azure costs, right? Because when you do make that pre-commit from the 1 year, the 3 year, you get it at a considerable cost savings, right? And then if you couple that with another capability or another incentive like Azure Hybrid Use Benefit, right? In some cases, we're seeing the discount up between 60 and 80%. I mean, depending on the series of the VM that you're running on and what you're doing, and so you can bring down costs really, really far. So people like that naturally, and it's predictable. It's
that's kind of like the understatement.
I know, right?
People like it when they get 80% discount.
Yeah, people like cheap.
Like that.
People like cheap.
Yeah.
But you've got predictability and cost because cost management sometimes can be a challenge. You've got obviously a significant discount. And so people who are more used to, I think, a CapEx type of model where they're pre-spending or they're investing in the capital expenditure up front, it fits that model. It does. So we're announcing some more reservations. So Azure Databricks, you've got a pre-purchase plan for Databricks. App service isolated stamp fee reservation. So if you have to take an app service and use the isolated stamp because you want to provision into a VNet and an ASE, or if you want to use it for private endpoints, or I'm sorry, private IP, you can use that. You can actually automatically renew reservations now. So if you had a reservation, you don't want to all of a sudden go to the list price, or if you don't have an enterprise agreement, you can auto renew that. You can scope reservations to a resource group.
Oh, I didn't know you
So,
could do that.
yeah, this is cool. So you can specifically target a resource group and say, I want to take this chunk of reservations and I want to apply it to this resource group.
So think about it this way: if you have 5 application teams,
Yep.
and this application team said, "I want a reservation,"
Yep.
they
We're
pay-
willing. It's in our budget. We're willing to
Willing
pay for it. Yep.
You can say that reservation goes to that resource group. So
Yep.
that they get the discount.
Exactly. So not at a sub level, at a resource group level, which
Right.
is pretty cool, right?
Right.
Enhanced usage data to help you charge back savings and
Yep, yep,
utilization. Basically, just visibility into what you bought, right?
Yep.
And we should be doing that,
Yeah.
right? And last but not least, there's an API to get the prices and purchase reservations that you have. So, and I'm assuming that ties in either directly or indirectly with our billing API,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
there's probably an API that you call canonically to say, azure.management.com/billing/reservations or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And you can find the billing API documentation. It's actually
Oh,
really,
absolutely.
It's a REST API. It's pretty
Yep,
straightforward.
yeah,
to
it's
follow,
very straightforward.
So-
Oh, so there's documentation right here in
there it is.
the blog post on the
Yep.
purchasing API.
So don't forget, if you're using Databricks and using it a bunch,
Yep.
get a commit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get a reservation.
Don't be afraid to marry her.
Take
or
them
him.
to the altar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Take them to the altar.
That's right.
And
we love
get
Databricks.
the discount.
And we're big
heck
fans
yeah,
of
we love
Databricks.
Databricks.
Yep,
And if you're a
absolutely.
big Databricks user, go for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there
Let's
you
do
have
it.
it. We're at
So
the
there you
top
have
of the hour.
One other thing is, we discussed moving the show notes. I don't know if people
Yep,
use the show
yep,
notes much,
yep,
but I
yep.
think we're going to move the show notes over to GitHub. So just be aware of that. So if you're a consumer of the show notes, just
Yep.
look out for that. We'll try
Yep.
and make it easy for people to find them.
We'll be making a few changes.
Yeah, we're going to make some changes there. But anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Good stuff.
Is that it?
So Mark, where can they find you if they have questions?
You can find me at mgarner on Twitter, or you can also find me, you can email me,
There you go.
mgarner@microsoft.com. Feel free,
Yep,
please.
absolutely. And you can reach me at rickwey@microsoft.com for email, or go ahead and message us on Twitter, tweet us, or PM us, DM us,
DM?
private
DM.
message us, DM,
Direct
public message.
Whatever it is. Whatever it
At
is.
Azure Flash News, you can DM us, and we'll certainly respond. So,
Absolutely.
as always, thank you to the MTC.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks to Emily
Yep.
Mac Miller for producing the show. We really
Yep.
appreciate that. And
course.
hopefully you enjoyed Teams. Send us
Yep.
feedback. If you didn't like it,
Don't send us feedback.
don't send us feedback because we don't really have a choice.
Kidding. Yeah,
They're forcing us
yeah,
over to Teams.
Exactly. Now, I will say, if you are watching this on YouTube, please, if you haven't subscribed and liked to the show,
Yes, please do.
and don't be afraid to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes to keep us showing up in the search.
And if you don't feel like you can give us a 5-star rating,
We'd love to hear why.
we want to hear why.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Very
Thanks,
good.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Look forward to talking to you same time, same place next week. Until then, keep your fingers on the keyboards and your head in the cloud.
Bye.